All right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. In a very rainy weekend here in Jacksonville, a lot of the high school games got flooded. Didn't rain quite as hard yesterday, but this morning and last night, man, come down pretty good. I'm hoping, for the sake of the Jacksonville Jaguars' possible resurgence, that it's not washed out on Monday as well. Should be a big crowd. We got a chance to get some respectability with the Chiefs coming in, especially after the demolition of the Ravens last week. It puts the Jaguars in position where they can reassert themselves as a player in the National Football League. They're 3-1 right now, and a victory over the Chiefs will not only give them another conference victory, but also get them a little bit more of a lead in the AFC South. Right now, the AFC South seems to be pretty weak. However, the Colts are surprisingly playing some good football. You take the transplant Daniel Jones, give him a line, a little bit more confidence in a running game. Yeah, now the Colts playing some football. Well, after watching some of the college games last night, you realize how important it is for stability. And like I always said, a good running game is the quarterback's best friend. And I think it's great that some teams are starting to realize that some things in football never go away. Like, you want to try to run the football, man. All this throw stuff gets you in trouble. But regardless of what style you play, you must show up to play. And surprise, surprise. Kim Lee, how you doing? Braden, how you doing? I just pop in a little bit to talk about what's going on with these football teams I'm seeing around here. And we had a couple upsets yesterday. Florida State got obliterated by Miami, pretty much. And the one that nobody saw coming was Penn State getting knocked off by UCLA. UCLA, they couldn't beat a college team as far as they've been, a high school team as far as they've been playing. I was kind of hot with them with that loss they had against New Mexico. I'm not a big gambler, but I did have a parlay that day, and it came down to UCLA beating New Mexico by 14 points. Well, I figured they'd beat them. I didn't know if they can beat them by 14 points. Well, they didn't do either. New Mexico beat them by 3 touchdowns. What the hell? Got the coach fired, and you just feel like UCLA might win a game. But come a Penn State team cross country that drag in, the circumstances were right for them to get beaten. I'd be damned. They didn't wake up until the second half, and by that time it was too late. And that's what happens when you're playing football. You got to show up to play all the time. Devin Mitchell, what about the NFL? Because I got some money lines going. Well, I'll put it to you like this. I'm not the one to depend on when it comes to gambling, because I don't do so well. But I think my biggest problem is I try to put too many things on one parlay, and that's why I don't win as much. But which games are you referring to? I give you an idea about who's going to win, but as far as the points go, I can't pick that for you. But today you got Cleveland. They're going into London to take on Minnesota. And I think Minnesota's got the advantage because they've already been in Europe. They were in Ireland last week to play Pittsburgh, and it's a much shorter flight from Ireland to London, very short flight from Ireland to London, as it is for the Browns to come all the way across the pond to get to London. You're talking that's at least a 6-hour flight. I was in the service years ago, and I caught a flight from Frankfurt, Germany into Atlanta, and that was an 8-hour ride. And when you look at the route they took, it don't seem to make sense. Instead of going a southwest direction straight to Atlanta, they flew northwest over Detroit and down to Atlanta. I still don't figure out why they did that, but that's what they do. So if the Browns are going to do the same thing, then it's going to take them at least 6 hours to get to the game today. All right, Mitchell says respect Colts and Raiders. A lot going on with that game right there. I don't know if you heard the news, but Mark Sanchez got himself in some trouble. He's supposed to be calling the game today, but he got stabbed. He went to the hospital, and then they turned around and arrest him. So I'm trying to figure out what did Sanchez do to make somebody want to stab him, and then he turned around and get arrested for the privilege. Um, but I think that the Colts, with that running game they got a better running game than what Raiders have. And I think with the way Daniel Jones is playing with that play action pass, I think that the Colts probably going to end up getting this. But don't be surprised if the Raiders figure out how to use that guy, Ashton Genty, and get him untracked and start making some noise. But Pete Carroll is going to find a way to win some football games out there I started to say Oakland, but Las Vegas. But I think that I think the Colts should probably pull away with that in the end. But as far as the point spread, I think the line's like 2.5. When the games are rated that close, I usually take the plus because they usually come down to something like that, and maybe a missed field goal or a fumble usually the one that make all the difference, and that's what I can't call. But I will call that the Colts will knock off the Raiders today. But the real question is, the Browns, they benched Flacco because they're off to a 1-3 start, and then they're suffering from what I call the Jackson Dart syndrome. The Giants and the Browns are pretty much in the same boat. They're starting out slow. They got rookie quarterbacks in the hole and waiting with old veterans starting in front of them. People are on Dayball's case because they felt like they should have started Jackson Dart sooner. Well, how did he know that Russell Wilson and they hadn't decided to use Jameis Winston couldn't go out there and lead them to at least a 500 record? Wilson had some bad moments, but he also had some good moments. They could have kept on riding with him. But the word is that in the locker room, they felt like that Dart was a stronger presence and was willing to lay it on the line more than what Wilson would do. And that's why the players secretly, they wanted to see what this guy Dart was playing. But Daboll, he probably would have rolled with the veteran as long as possible if his job wasn't on the line. If he had lost another game with Dart in the wings like that, then he probably wouldn't have made it to week 8. He'd have been gone. So why not go out slinging with the young fella? And that's what he did, and it paid off last week with an upset of the Chargers. Seeing that, the Browns thinking, we 1-3. Our offense not raising in the hell with Flacco. We got 2 young guns behind him, so let's go see what they can do. Well, they have made the call to go with Gabriel today. And the question is, do you think Gabriel is going to lay an egg? I got some votes so far. Most of you are saying yes. Now, the question is, are you guys legitimately saying yes, or are you Sanders fans who want to see Sanders out there as opposed to Gabriel? Well, what's good, bro? How you doing? Mr. Mulatto, I ain't seen you in a while. A lot of people want Sanders to go in, and I'm thinking Sanders is going to get his opportunity much in the way that he got the opportunity in preseason to get in there. But the problem is they didn't move Sanders up to number 2. They moved Flacco back to 2, and Gabriel bumped up to 1. Now, what they're going to do, they're going to run some short passing schemes. They're going to try to hit the tight end and the backside in the flats, and they're going to make it easier for him with some easy reads and see if he can get things going that way. Selmo, how you doing, man? Yeah, we had to take a break in Pittsburgh. We didn't want to whip nobody this week, man. You know, sometimes on Sunday you just don't want to whip nobody. So we had to get a week off this week. But I think that they're going to give Gabriel some easier throws, and that'll be fine until you get around the goal line. When you get around the goal line, you got to take a shot. And that's where it's going to be interesting. Now, what Gabriel cannot do, what I saw him doing in the preseason, forcing the ball into tight spots, if he does that, then Minnesota's going to take advantage of it and at least pick him off. I think they're going to snag at least one from him. But if he can pull off what Dart did last week and not throw any interceptions, then he's going to make it pretty interesting there in Cleveland as the coach. Laughing at Mulatto. But the thing is, I think that Gabriel is going to be okay, but the call for Shador to come in is still going to be great unless Gabriel goes out and throws for 300-400 yards. And there's no doubt that this guy here needs to be leading his offense. But if he's only getting somewhere around 200 yards, barely cracking the 200-yard mark, and the offense struggles and the team still lose, Sanders is going to get his shot. It may not come today. He may not show up today. He may not be the next week. I think they should give Gabriel a decent shot to show what he can do. But if he gets out there and struggles horribly and he starts looking like J.J. McCarthy, then they're going to pull a plug on him and they're going to try Sanders. Why not? He can always deal Gabriel later if he doesn't work out. Same thing with Sanders. Well, like I've been telling you guys before, what I think what's going to happen in Cleveland, they're going to give Gabriel a shot today. He's going to be all right, but he's going to make some critical mistakes that's going to make them want to put Sanders in there in the next couple of games. He's going to get in there, and he's going to make some critical mistakes, and then the team is going to have an awful record. They're going to reactivate Deshaun Watson. They're going to release Joe Flacco, and then Watson is going to get inserted because he's got that big salary, and they might as well put him out there to see what he can do. And then lo and behold, he's going to show you that he's the best quarterback on the Cleveland team. And Deshaun Watson is going to end the season as a starting quarterback for the Browns and come back and be the starter next year. I've been telling you this all year. Mark my word, this is what's going to happen. So just like everybody else, I'm in great anticipation to see if my master plan for the Browns unfolds. And we got, about 15 more minutes before the kickoff in London. And I think it's great. Right now, it's 50-50. A lot of you think Gabriel's going to lay an egg. Half of you say he won't. I think he's going to play okay. He's not going to light the world on fire. But once Minnesota figures out what are they trying to do with this guy, they're going to make the adjustments in the second half, and things are going to get very interesting. Now, the Chargers, they didn't do that last week. I think they just showed up thinking that we got a rookie quarterback. We're going to confuse him a little bit, and he's going to make it easier for him. Well, the more a guy gets in there and he makes plays and gets confidence, the more confident he's going to be. And because of that, he never fell apart. And the kid's ready to run around and throw his body out there. And, hey, man, guys want to play with people like that. And the Giants, they may have their quarterback, regardless of what Gruden was saying earlier in the year about him not being able to get the snap and call the snap count and all that crap. That lets you know right there where you do things. You might have to modernize to the way these modern players are playing. And Dart seems to be the guy. And the question is, did the Browns make the right choices in their quarterbacks like the Giants did? So in about 15 minutes, we're about to find out. Rizzo, whatever Cleveland quarterback wins the debut, they'll get a longer leash. They say that Cleveland, you win, you're a god, you have a good one. No, I don't know about that, man. He should have a longer leash, like you said, and that's why I said he'll get a couple games to see what he can do. But if he's just middling along and they're still losing, the calls are going to come for Sanders to get out there. He's going to play at some point. Chris Bristol, where you been, man? I've been missing you early in the morning, man. You got to come in and say hello or something, man. We're talking about these Browns. I know you guys are, you won't admit it, but you guys are closet Steeler fans. That's why you chime in to me, because we go to the Super Bowl. So even though the Browns are a rival, I don't like to see them struggle too much. Same thing with Baltimore. What kind of break you been on, man? You been to California somewhere? Send me some of them California girls or some pictures or something, man. They got to be about 35, though. I don't want no jitterbugs. But I'm just messing with you. I think that Cleveland, I like to root for them because they're a rival. Same thing with Cincinnati and Baltimore. We don't want to beat you when you guys are all broken up. We want to beat you when you're 100%. So you can't go back and say, the only reason they beat us because we were missing so-and-so. No, we beat you because we're just better than you and so-and-so. And next time we catch you, we're going to whip you again. And that's just the way it is. I kind of feel bad for Baltimore right now because they get all these injuries, man. But I can't help it. Just the way it goes in pro sports. Some teams, you get hurt this year, the next team, they get hurt the next year. You might miss the injury bug 4 or 5 years, and all of a sudden, boom, you get hit for 2 or 3 years. That's just the way it goes, man. All right, Cleveland quarterback debut 0-16. Rookie quarterback versus Flores, 1-19. Well, listen, man, I understand what somebody else has done, but that's got nothing to do with this next game. Florio, he can't live on what he's done. Flores can't live on what he's done, and nobody else can either. It's the next game. The other games and the ones before that, they're gone. It's what are you going to do today? Take Sam Darnold. He's a perfect case for that. What he won 14 games, and he lost 2 going into the last game of the regular season. He played like Superman, well beyond his capabilities. But in that game against Detroit, when everything was on the line, he lost. Not only did he lose, it was like, was it Cinderella that turned into, what happened with the one that turned into a pumpkin at 12 o'clock? Cinderella or Snow White, whoever it was. He turned back into Sam Darnold, and they ended up losing. So he goes to the playoffs, and he stayed Sam Darnold. He didn't come back to his superpower ways until this year when he went to Seattle. So the question is, when is he going to turn back into Sam Darnold? We don't know that, but he lost his opportunity to be the Vikings lead guy when he fell apart those last 2 games. Had he not fallen apart those last 2 games, then he'd still be in Minnesota. So they could care less about the 14 games he won. It's the 2 that he lost in the end. So it's all about what are you doing now. So Flores, he might get lit up. He thought the Chargers would light up Jackson Dart, but no, it didn't work out that way. That's just the way sports go, man. And I love it. And I'm just sitting here waiting for the time where I can sit here and watch and see what Gabriel's going to do. I think the kid's going to be okay. He's not going to do anything fabulous, but at the same time, he should keep his team in the game. Rizzo said a lot of money at that point to keep him, I think, and the money worth the future other side of the coin, I guess. Well, the thing about it is he's just a 3rd rounder. He didn't spend a whole lot of money on him like he was a 1st round choice. That's why he is interchangeable with Sanders, even though Sanders is a 5th round. There ain't a whole lot of difference in the money, $1 million or $2 million. But then again, you got to think these kids coming out of these big colleges now, they're already getting paid. So some of them even take a pay cut when they come in. Oh, you're talking about the timing of, you're still, what have you done for me lately? And his timing was bad at the end. And now he's bounced back and signed a big contract. Or if he didn't sign a big contract, he's going to be great. Mac Jones is another example. They run him out of Jacksonville. He goes to Frisco to join an offense that's better suited for him. And now they might be trying to run Brock Purdy out of town because of the way Mac Jones is playing. And, I don't know if you guys know it, but it's been reported now that Mac Jones, before they played the Rams, he just happened to look out the window. I guess it was a lake or a river behind the hotel, and he see a body floating in the water. Somebody was dead, and he saw it. So maybe there was a caricature of the Rams guy being dead because they ended up winning the game. But Mac Jones, he's putting himself in a position where he's going to make a whole lot of money at the end of the year. The question is, would it be with San Francisco because he signed a 2-year deal? If it was me, I'm Frisco, I'm going to keep him there, sign him to a big contract, and that will put pressure on Brock Purdy. And then let them fight it out in training camp, or whoever doesn't win the job, get rid of him. But you as San Francisco, knowing how quarterbacks are hard to find, why not keep them both in there? They're suitable for you, and keep them as long as you can. You're going to pay a quarterback anyway, might as well keep him. But the question is, will Mac Jones force them to pay a higher salary? That remains to be seen. And I think he's going to want some bump in pay, but they probably just rip his contract up and give him more money. That'd be the best way to keep him. I'd be interested to see how that unfolds. But right now, it's all about the Browns, and they're going to take on the Vikings in London. And I think that the Vikings, they got a pretty good defense. And if they get just enough support from Wentz, they should have beat Pittsburgh last week. They didn't. I think they're going to beat Cleveland. But it should be interesting to see just how they defense this guy, Gabriel. They're not going to know exactly how he's going to attack them this week. And by the end of the first quarter, they should have some kind of idea. And then the second half, they're going to start tightening up all the way on them. But it's going to be interesting to see. But I just wanted to come on a few minutes before the game. Just like everybody else, I want to see some football too. And let you know what I thought about Gabriel and his Brown quarterback situation again. And should be a pretty good game. And unless there's some breaking news, I'll come back on later. I appreciate you guys. Holler at me, Rizzo. And Mr. Mulatto, Chris Bristol came in. And Selmo Fudd, the big Browns fans. I know what he's doing. He get ready to watch some football. He got his dog pound face paint on and he's ready to go. So I'm going to check him out. But you guys have a good day. And like I say, if I get a chance to come back on later on, I'm going to pull some high school, some highlights from some high school games I saw the other day. Talk more about that tomorrow. But in the meantime, you guys have a great football Sunday afternoon. I'm out. No